Rev up your engines! This is a Volvo V60. Now, in its day, 2017, it wasn't outrageously expensive. $39,000 was the list for the car. And if you know anything about Volvos, they have those wild old station wagons that can run forever. Well, this is the new version. You can see the back's kind of squashed down. It still is a station wagon, and this is the V60 turbocharged all-wheel drive version. Now, they have a lot of technology in them. I'll show you what's under the hood here. Now, this is a 4-cylinder engine. You can see it's got a turbocharger on it. Now, in this particular year, they had 2 engines. And this is the one you'd want to get in 2017, because the other one had a turbocharger and a supercharger on it, and they had problems with the supercharger. In this case, the turbo is the way to go. You're either going to get a turbo or a turbo and a supercharger. Stick to that. And as you can see, he bought this with 23,000 miles on it for $25,975. Volvo paid the first 3 payments. It was a Volvo loan, so not a bad price, because when you consider a new one of these, now they only make hybrid versions. They start at $69,000. They are extremely expensive. In the case of any hybrid, but especially a Volvo hybrid, you're not saving any money buying a hybrid. You go from a $29,000 car or less to a $69,000 car, because it's hybrid, it's got all that technology. Maybe not such a smart idea to buy one of those if you're pinching pennies. Oh yeah, to get better gas mileage. You know how many centuries you'd have to drive that thing to save $30,000 in fuel? Let's face the facts with these things. Don't live in a fantasy world. Now he's got 45,000 miles. He ain't done anything except the oil change and change the spark plugs. And he does it himself. He watches my videos and you can see everything's out in the open. It's got the dumb beauty cover, you can take it off, but everything's out in the open. It's very easy to work on. And as you can see down here in the hall, there's the transmission, and what does it say? It's an Aisin transmission made in Japan, a Toyota transmission. I realize this is a station wagon, squashed down a little, but he gets 32 miles a gallon on a highway. He's got generally around 245 horsepower, plenty enough horsepower to pull it around. And he's got 2 big dogs, which is one of the reasons that he bought it. Flip those babies down. Throw it down. You can have a lot of room. Here's their dog toys. And you're not going to get stuck in the snow because it is all-wheel drive. Just like a moose. Still got the original emblem. And if you want a really hilarious story, you remember that guy who was going around saying everyone should go around and take the Volvo emblems off because it's male chauvinist pigs, right? The male symbol, right? That's not what it is. Volvo was a bearing company, and this is the symbol for iron. There's a thing called the periodic table, talks about elements, and iron is in there. It comes from exploding supernovas, right? Well, doesn't have anything to do with men, so if you think this is male chauvinist, I think you should go to a re-education center. Now, like I say, he hasn't had any problems with it, but like I also said, if you're gonna buy one of these, get the turbo. Don't get the turbo with the supercharger on top of it. And unless money means nothing to you, I wouldn't buy the new hybrid one for 69 grand up. That's just too much money. I mean, he got this thing 25 grand. Not a bad deal, really, at all. Like I say, he hasn't put any money into it. Now, he wants me to check it out to see if it's going okay. Of course, the man is putting the cart before the horse because he bought it 2 years ago, but he hasn't had any problem in the 2 years. So we'll get inside, push the button to turn the dash on, intelligent diagnosis, around and around and around it goes. There we go. It knows it's a Volvo V60 2017. So we'll do a diagnosis. We'll do a smart scan, do everything. And we're off to the races. While we're waiting, you can see the leather seats are in pretty good shape. There's a lot of room in the back. It's got the obligatory sun moon roof, whatever you want to call it. As you can see, it looks kind of scary. There's a bunch of red stuff here, right? So let's start there. Steering wheel switch, incorrect assembly, cruise control, seat belt reminder. Ignition on relay, steering wheel module, hazard illumination, light switch module, circuit to ground, low speed collision mitigation by braking disabled, bus signal missing. That's computer one. Horn relay, circuit is open. But the horn beeps. Current above threshold. Lost communication with rain sensing module. As you can see, there's overkill with technology in these things. Battery gets low, doesn't send enough electricity. We're going to erase them all before we take it on a road test. And it has infotainment codes. We'll see what they are. Mismatch with market system, internal failures, incorrect component installed, video output failure, video output bus signal failure. More stupid little communication things that we really don't care about. And the power seat module has codes. Memory number 3 switch general signal fish. More crazy codes. The heating and AC works fine, he says. The keyless ignition says control module configuration incompatible. Yeah, well, we'll erase that too. Configuration incompatible. Here we go, we'll erase that too. We'll look at live data. We'll enter it. Start up the car. Starts up smooth. We'll start looking at them. It has an electric coolant pump. It even shows you how fast it's spinning. Realize these things are laden with technology. If they do break, there's some very expensive repairs can happen. But I mean, really, this guy works out of home. He doesn't put much mileage on it. Nothing's going to break when you have less than 50,000 miles on any car, really. Unless it's Fiat or something. Now, the long-term fuel trim, it's subtracting a little bit of fuel. It's running a little bit rich. Probably could use the fuel injectors clean. Now it shows the high-pressure side fuel. The required value is 720. It moves around and it's pretty close. The voltage supply to the computer is fine, 14.4. It's charging perfectly. So other than a bunch of really squirrely control module adaptation incorrect machinery, car runs fine, gets good gas mileage. You didn't care about those stupid little things. We'll take it for a spin. Now with all those crazy codes, let's just check the battery anyway. So we'll do a battery health test. See what's happening. Here we go. Now it's doing an active test. Now the battery's normal. It says that it's got 71% of its lifespan. In this case, you can't blame anything on the battery. If it was a low battery, you'll get all kinds of crazy computer data because if it gets below a certain parameter of voltage, it'll start saying, oh, there's not enough voltage going here or there. Well, it's got plenty of voltage, so that stuff, since I erased stuff, we'll take it for a spin and see what happens. Now, we'll turn off the auto start stop. It's annoying. And you can see, now it does have a rather tiny screen, but you can see where you're going. Good color, just a tiny screen. Now the first thing you notice, it's a very smooth car. It idles very smooth. Now we'll take it down a little Rhode Island bumpy road, see how it rides. Here come the bumps and pretty smooth ride. It's absorbing a lot of the shocks. I gotta say, this is one of the smoothest riding cars I've tested on this road. Now it is a little 4-cylinder turbo, so let's see what it can do. We'll get to the old stop sign, and now we get to wait, because there's people coming everywhere. Well, we might have an opening coming up soon. There we go, that's good enough. It does have a turbo, and it does take off. We had no problem. Now you hear some noise, because it is a little bitty turbo engine. But you step on the gas, very little turbo lag, and it takes off. It really does handle quite well, I do have to say. And when you're taking off, the turbo kicks in. It's got plenty enough horsepower. 240 something horsepower is fine for a car this size. But it shows why it has a turbo. Without the turbo, they are too slow. They definitely need a turbo. But they're Volvos, and they've had turbos on these things for decades. And Volvo's not a particularly problem-laden turbo company. The turbos seem to hold up quite well. Let's take the Ford EcoBoost turbos, which have all kinds of problems of breaking down early. These Volvos with turbos, they can handle it. They've been making them for quite some time. And old school, it's got a really loud turn signal. You can definitely hear it. I do have to say, check out the backup camera. Talk about verdant green. Good color, even though it's small. And as you can tell, that Toyota Aisin automatic transmission, hey, it shifts like a dream. It is smooth. You step on it, kicks in good, take it off, shifts down very smoothly. After all, it's a Toyota transmission. And I do have to say, this is one of the smoothest 4-cylinder engines I've ever driven. It is smooth. So here we have a Volvo with a Toyota automatic transmission. Definitely solid build. Yes, it's all that remains of station wagons anymore. I like station wagons. I think it's great. Even though it's squashed down, the other ones had a little bit more room. It's still a station wagon with all the convenience, but it still gets good gas mileage, all-wheel drive, has a lot of power, and for you uneducated people, has the male chauvinist badge. So if you're thinking about getting one, just listen to one thing. Make sure you get the turbo, not the turbo with the supercharger on top of it. That you want to stay away from. And unless you like throwing your money away, I would definitely not go buy the new ones that are hybrid that cost $69,000. He bought this thing you saw for like 25 grand with very little mileage on it, and he's real happy with the car. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.